is going on, guys? JD from New York here. And this is part 2 of number 92 of the number 1 fucking source right here on YouTube.com for everything WWE. This is Off The Script, the number 1 podcast in your subscription box right here on YouTube.com, man. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this Saturday morning. Hope you guys enjoyed Friday's episode where we talked about Roman Reigns and the possibility of Roman Reigns going into WrestleMania, going one-on-one with John Cena. Those plans are being discussed right now behind closed doors in the WWE. If you guys missed that, link is in the description as well as all the other shit that I usually talk about, man. My sponsors, WrestleCrate. If you want to donate to the show, ProWrestlingTees.com. You guys know where to find it. And last but certainly not least, the Danger Zone. Go and subscribe to the Danger Zone, Dank Ops community channel. And JD was actually on there, man. Go check that shit out, talking about Roman Reigns and him being the next big heel in WWE and how I would book him at Survivor Series and all the way in to WrestleMania, including the Royal Rumble for Dean Ambrose, man. It's a great listen. Behind the mic, number 1 for the Danger Zone community channel, man. So go check that shit out. Go subscribe and go support the video, man, and let me know how you like that video on the Danger Zone community channel. Now, we're going to talk about a few things here today, guys. I took a poll on Twitter yesterday. If you're not following me on Twitter, at JD from NY206 on Twitter. I took a poll, and I asked you guys, what do you want to see today as far as the top story goes for Off The Script number 2 this weekend? It was either Billy Gunn or Sasha Banks. I'm going to save Sasha Banks for the weekend, for Sunday, to close out the show, okay? I'm going to use that to close out the show on Sunday. We're going to talk about Billy Gunn. Now, there was a breaking news story yesterday about Billy Gunn. Monty Sopp is his real name. And Billy Gunn was obviously a trainer down in NXT at the Developmental Center. He was on, you've seen him a lot on Tough Enough. And, you know, you've seen him in Breaking Ground, etc., on the WWE Network. But Monty Sopp, better known as Billy Gunn, has been a trainer for the WWE since 2012. Gunn has been influential in development of a lot of talent over the last 3 years to be exact, including opening the door for James Storm to come to the WWE and make his debut on NXT. Yesterday, WWE fired Billy Gunn because he tested positive for violating the wellness policy of the company. He tested positive for having 37-1 testosterone and epistosterone ratio for a powerlifting meet in July. This is a 4-to-1 ratio over the limit. WWE reportedly learned of this several weeks ago. WWE will most likely release a statement today to make the release of Sopp official. Before his time as a trainer for the WWE, Billy Gunn was an active member of the WWE roster from 1993 through 2004. Gunn is most well known as Badass or Mr. Ass Billy Gunn and one half of the New Age Outlaws, which is, in my opinion, one of the greatest WWE tag teams of all time. During his WWE tenure, Gunn was an 11-time WWE World Heavyweight Tag Team Champion and an Intercontinental Champion, a 2-time Hardcore Champion, and won the 1999 King of the Ring. In 2013, he made his return to the WWE with the Road Dogg Jesse James to bring back the New Age Outlaws. Together, they won one more Tag Team Championship and took on the Shield with Kane at WrestleMania 30. In 2015, the team took on the Ascension at the Royal Rumble, made an appearance at WrestleMania 31, and was a coach on the latest season of Tough Enough. Now, this is a terrible situation, all right? I'm going to look at both sides of the spectrum here again for this entire story. You know, I loved Billy Gunn. I was a huge fan of the New Age Outlaws. Like I said, I consider the New Age Outlaws one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history. Definitely one of the most influential tag teams in the WWE ever. Okay, during the Attitude Era, man, they were unbelievable. They were over like you wouldn't believe. Getting crowds ready to go. Road Dogg with his charisma, Billy Gunn with his charisma, and they just had it all as a tag team, man. They were one of those teams that, you know, you looked at first and you didn't think anything much of it. You didn't think much of it at all. You know, two guys, you know, they're all right, you know. But as time went on, they gelled, and, you know, they just came out of their shells, and it was just an unbelievable run by the New Age Outlaws, man. I've been a fan of Mr. Ass, Billy Gunn, and what he has done for the WWE for a very long time, man. Going back to the Attitude Era, you know, even with the Smoking Guns, man. I loved the Smoking Guns. You know, they were a generic tag team back in the day, but, you know, they were a great tag team. Billy and Bart Gunn, man. I followed Billy Gunn all through his career watching WWE, man. Of course, I was there to see him grow from the Smoking Guns and into Badass Billy Gunn, Mr. Rest, the New Age Outlaws, and all the fucking great feuds that they had, you know. It's just an unbelievable time, you know, when you see somebody and you follow them through the beginning stages of their career and all the way up until what they do after their time in the ring, man. But Billy Gunn, this is a situation where you really can't blame WWE, man. No, number one, they're a publicly traded company on Wall Street. There's so many eyes on the WWE right now that if they don't make a right decision and they let something slip through the cracks, people will nail them on it, man. People will criticize them. They will be brought into the public eye in a negative manner, and WWE does not want that. There's a lot of people out there that are investing their money in the WWE brand, especially with the network launch and how things are going with the WWE now in 2015 going into 2016. There's a lot of people putting their money on WWE, man. They see a lot of potential in WWE. They're taking the right steps with the drug policies, and the WWE network is very, very successful for a very short time right now. It's doing very well, and it's only going to get better. WWE has to look at everything that they do from a business perspective. And if Billy Gunn, and I know I watch baseball, and you guys know I love baseball, I love the MLB. Do you know how many baseball players try and get away with using PEDs in MLB? Do you know what happens to them when they get caught using PEDs? They get I think it's a 51 game suspension. That's like a half a year. You're done for the half a year without pay. You get your pay taken away. You're the outcast of the team. You're labeled as a cheater. Look at Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, Jose Canseco, Alex Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez, probably the figurehead of everything, using illegal enhancement drugs to try and get ahead of the competition and better himself by not working for it. What happened to Alex Rodriguez? You know, Alex Rodriguez, injury-prone baseball player. You know, he knew that. He knew that he was aging. He knew that as he got older, his stats and everything that he brought to the table would be diminishing year after year. He wants to stay ahead of all the young guys trying to take his spot. What's going to happen? He's going to try and cheat the system. And then he comes out and says, I didn't do drugs. I didn't do anything wrong. And then tries and hires a lawyer and tries to get everything wiped clean. Spending millions and millions and millions of dollars to try and get this wiped away when everybody knows that he's wrong. He knows that he's wrong. I'm sure his lawyer knows that he's wrong. Alex Rodriguez is labeled as a cheater for the rest of his career. One of the greatest baseball players of our generation, labeled as a cheater. He could have went on to broke every fucking record that there is. Gone. He's a cheater. Hall of Fame. Gone. Barry Bonds. Look at Barry Bonds. Look at the records that he broke. Do you think anybody takes him seriously now, even still? No. Nobody takes these guys seriously. They're labeled as cheaters, and then they get away with it or they try and get away with it, and they shrug their shoulders as if nothing ever happened, man. And these are the guys that are making millions of dollars. Kids come out to the stadium every fucking day, try and get an autograph, right? These guys are labeled as cheaters. They should not be admired. And then the thing that pisses me off about it is that when he comes back from, and Alex Rodriguez was gone for the entire year. He was suspended for the entire year for what he did off the New York Yankees. But then the thing that pisses me off, and I'm not even a Yankees fan, but the thing that pisses me off is that he comes back, and people embrace him. People embrace him. All he has to do is hit a few home runs and win a few games and, get the Yankees back in contention for another World Series title, and people embrace him. People forget about it. People and the fans spending their money, buying the jerseys, buying the caps, spending $9 on a box of Cracker Jacks. They're not thinking about it. They don't care. Whatever, it's done. It's the past, it's the past. No, you can't do that. I hate people like that, man. Now, this is a completely different situation, but I wanted to just give you guys an example of performance-enhancing drugs and the people that use them. It's all around sports. Everywhere. I'm sure there's people in WWE right now using illegal drugs that, they might not be illegal, but they might be over-the-counter drugs, but they do the same thing. But they're not labeled illegal. I'm sure people in WWE take drugs, man, to stay ahead of the game. With the rigorous schedules, with the fucking way that they batter their body each and every day, 300 days a year, there's got to be something that you can rely on to be there every single time the company asks for you. If not, I don't see where your career is going. So I know most of the WWE active roster is taking something to stay ahead of the game, to make sure that they go out there each and every day and perform at a top-notch level. I know. And it's slipping through the cracks. It might be over the counter. It might not be labeled illegal. WWE might let things slip here and there. But whatever the case may be, man, this got out. This got out to the public. And WWE did the right thing for the business. Friendships and dedication and loyalty and all that Billy Gunn has accumulated over the years he's been there, being Triple H's boy. One of the guys in Triple H's clique. Even that could not save him now because WWE did something for the right of the business. If they let this slip through the cracks, they have to worry about the publicly traded stocks on Wall Street, the investors, the people investing their money in the company. WWE's now being reported on ESPN. If they did not fire Billy Gunn, what kind of example would WWE be setting? Yes, we allow cheaters in our company, no matter if they're an active performer or if they're a trainer training our young guys. So you see, WWE did the right thing here, no matter how much we love Billy Gunn. He was made an example of. If any of the young guys that he was training see this and he was not fired, they would think it's okay. They would go and do something as stupid as he did to try and get away with it. And then they would be risking their jobs. No. Billy Gunn tried to cheat in a powerlifting contest. He tried to get away, with getting ahead of everybody else, being an older guy, probably going against younger guys in this powerlifting meet in July. He wanted to be just as good as these younger guys. He wanted to be equal with these guys, the best he could. And he tried to cheat, and WWE caught him. No matter what he was doing, who knows if he was slipping PEDs to the young guys down there. I don't know, man. We don't know. But all I know is that WWE, no matter how much we love Billy Gunn, WWE did the right decision here based on business. Okay? WWE takes this drug policy very seriously. Very seriously. PEDs. This is something that all the major sports guys are doing to try and cheat, like I just previously mentioned. Billy Gunn fired from the WWE for testing positives for illegal performance-enhancing drugs, man, PEDs. And WWE did the right thing here, and I really can't blame them. Now, I would love to know what Billy Gunn was thinking. I would love to hear a statement from Billy Gunn. I would love to know. I'd be very interested to know how Billy Gunn thinks about everything right now that has happened within the last 24 hours. So Billy Gunn fired from the WWE for using performance-enhancing drugs. And I'm sorry to be reporting that, but it's true, man. And I do not blame the WWE whatsoever. Whatsoever. They take this drug policy very, very seriously, no matter what is going on within the company, man. If it's going to get out to the public like this, WWE has no other choice but to release Billy Gunn. And they did the right decision based on business. So Billy Gunn fired from the WWE for using PEDs, okay? There's an interesting story here, and I know yesterday was also the anniversary of when we lost Eddie Guerrero in 2005. 10 years that Eddie Guerrero has been gone. God rest his soul, man. One of the greatest of all time, and I know you guys agree with me. But the one question that is asked everywhere is, before Eddie passed, what were the plans for Eddie Guerrero going into WrestleMania 22? Now, I know you guys would love to hear what the plans were, and they were actually discussed on Court Bauer's podcast. A huge element of the tragedy of Eddie Guerrero's death is the question of what could have been. How would have Eddie's career progressed and moved on over the years? Would Eddie Guerrero be in the WWE today? Or could he be in Lucha Underground? Sadly, we'll never know the answer to those questions. But today, or yesterday I should say, on the 10th anniversary of Guerrero's death, Busted Open of Sirius XM Radio did a tribute special in Latino Heat's honor. Both Rey Mysterio and Chavo Guerrero appeared on the Today Show to help Busted Open honor and share stories about Eddie. Court Bauer, who was a WWE creative writer at the time of Eddie's death, was also on the show and offered insight into the original plans for WrestleMania 22. Supposedly, now listen to this, it's going to send chills up your spine, man, can you imagine? Supposedly the plans were for Eddie Guerrero to go one-on-one with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 22. According to Bauer, WWE had a huge conference call right before Eddie's death in 2005, and that was the plan going forward. It's possible that match could have changed, or maybe we would have gotten to see Guerrero versus Michaels at WrestleMania. That would have been something truly special at WrestleMania on the grandest stage of them all. Can you imagine that, man? That's what the report says. Court Bauer on Busted Open, Sirius XM Radio, saying that the plans were for Eddie Guerrero to go one-on-one with Shawn Michaels. Now, nothing against Shawn Michaels' involvement at WrestleMania 22. That match with Vince McMahon, that hardcore match that he had, that street fight, that match was fucking great. The fucking beating that Shawn Michaels gave Vince McMahon and the beating that Vince McMahon took from Shawn Michaels was just phenomenal, man. Fucking, I believe Vince McMahon was stuffed in a trash can, laying on top of a table, and to end the fucking match, Shawn Michaels climbs up one of them huge fucking ladders, them fucking 30-foot ladders that WWE always has hiding underneath the ring. He climbs it, does the fucking elbow drop right on top of the trash can with Vince McMahon in it on top of the table, man. That was a great match, man. That was a fun match. A fun match. But nothing would compare to what could have been with HBK and Eddie Guerrero, man. I'm just going to let that sink in. Can you imagine Eddie Guerrero versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 22? Can you imagine the match that those two would have had? That could have been in the top 5 greatest WrestleMania matches. Probably one of the greatest matches ever if it did happen. But that would be unbelievable to think about. It can only happen up here, guys, because sadly, Eddie Guerrero is no longer with us. Rest in peace, Eddie. And it is 10 years since he has been gone from us here, man. It's just unbelievable. It seems like it just happened yesterday, man. 10 years flew by just like that. And Eddie, passing away in 2005. And that's just unbelievable to think about, man. Eddie versus HBK. Unfucking real. So that was on the Busted Open podcast. I figured I'd share that with you guys. It is no secret that Cesaro is perhaps one of the most underutilized wrestlers on the current WWE roster. It's also no secret that Vince McMahon's belief is that Cesaro lacks that it factor that will make him a WWE guy. Ultimately, that comes down to the mic skills of a performer. Cesaro has proven several times that he can outperform anyone on the roster in the ring, and that is absolutely true. But that doesn't matter if you can connect to the audience and lead them to the stories you can tell in the ring. This is a primary reason why Cesaro isn't considered a top hand when he has every right to be a top hand in the WWE. All it would take is the right mouthpiece at the right time to lead Cesaro to the main event and most likely the WWE Championship. The latest edition of the Woo Nation podcast by Ric Flair gave his praise on Cesaro. Flair had also an interesting idea to elevate Cesaro, fix the mic skill issue, and bring the Nature Boy back into the fold. Flair had the following to say about Cesaro, and I quote, "Who brings more to the table as a performer if you look at raw ability than Cesaro? Nobody." I mean, that kid is phenomenal, but he's 1 week on and 1 week off, and I think that's the part of the problem here with the WWE and Cesaro. I know how they can resolve the mic issue. Dial 911-NATE. So Ric Flair putting it out there that he would love to be the spokesman for Cesaro and get him to that next level where we all think he should be, and that is in the main event, fighting for WWE Championship gold, man. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that would be a good pairing? The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and Cesaro? Me, I don't think the combination would work well together, but if it's going to help Cesaro, I would be all for it. I've been here and I've said that I would have never broke up the Real Americans, man, with Zeb Coulter, Cesaro, and Jack Swagger, man. I would have let them stay a team for a couple of years, man, before splitting them up. I think WWE just kind of jumped the gun on that a little bit. Cesaro was getting over organically, man. He was getting over naturally with the audience, and people were fucking taken to that team. And it would have gave Jack Swagger something to do, man, instead of breaking them away and, you know, you both make them into meaningless mid-card guys with nothing to do. Why they would do that and break them away so soon, I don't know. So they took Cesaro and put him with Paul Heyman, and that still didn't work. That still did not work. They could have made it work, but WWE just didn't work. They figured that anybody with Paul Heyman would turn to gold. It didn't work with Axel. It didn't work with Cesaro. You got to be the right guy. You got to be the right guy. And a lot of people say that Axel and Cesaro don't have the charisma to be someone like a Paul Heyman guy. But whatever the case may be, man, Cesaro needs to be in the main event. He's definitely one of the best wrestlers on the roster. There's nobody in the WWE, I think, besides Daniel Bryan, that could outperform anybody. Can outperform Cesaro on the main roster, really. And I'm not. This is excluding NXT, man. I know there's guys in NXT, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe. You know, those guys can go as well. But Cesaro, Ric Flair on his podcast, putting it out there that he wants to be the spokesman for Cesaro. Let me know what you guys think about that. And it would be definitely interesting to see Cesaro with a spokesman like Ric Flair. I think that would get him over, man. Why? Because Ric Flair is over, and that would rub off on Cesaro. We're going to end this week's part 2, guys, with more possible news, or news, I should say, for Survivor Series plans, the original plans for Survivor Series for Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and then I got news on Sheamus as well. There's been a lot revealed, I should say, about the original Survivor Series plans for Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, but the third Shield member, Dean Ambrose, would, of course, be affected by Rollins' injury. According to WrestleZone.com, the original plans for Ambrose at Survivor Series were for him to challenge Kevin Owens for the Intercontinental Championship. There is no news on if Ambrose would have won the IC title from Kevin Owens. It's irrelevant now, but it's likely that WWE bookers just can't, or just hadn't made a decision just yet on Ambrose. Due to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship tournament, those initial plans have now been scrapped for at least right now. Last night, or I should say this week, Owens defeated Titus O'Neil and Ambrose beat Tyler Breeze in first-round matches of the tournament. Since both men are on the same side of the bracket, it's very possible for Ambrose and Owens to face each other in the semifinals, with the winner most likely to face Roman Reigns in the finals to determine the next WWE champion. There's plenty at stake already in that match. It's very unlikely that the match would include the Intercontinental Championship. However, that match may lead to a feud between Ambrose and Owens further down the road if rumored plans for Ambrose don't come to fruition. And you guys have been asking me, JD, even on the Danger Zone, JD, you got to keep in mind that Sheamus has got the money in the bank. What about Sheamus? Sheamus is looming in the shadows. Sheamus has got the briefcase. Sheamus is still the Money in the Bank contract holder. After Seth Rollins' injury, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title picture is now wide open. The tournament will be a little rushed over the next few weeks, and a new WWE World Heavyweight Champion will be crowned at the Survivor Series. Most speculation is for Roman Reigns to become the next champion. There's a lot of debate about whether or not he'll be turning heel simultaneously. As reported this week, Dave Meltzer noted the following statement on the plans for Reigns to become the next champion at Survivor Series. Roman was going to win it at Survivor Series all along. That was the plan. I figured it, but I didn't know for sure against Seth Rollins. But in fact, it is for sure he was going to win it all at the Survivor Series. I don't know if he's going to win the tournament because they have to get a heel hot. Like I said, watch the Danger Zone. I give it to you. I lay it all out for you. Video in the description below. I'm not going to go over it again. You guys know how I feel about Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns needs to be the next big heel. The next corporate heel. The next guy for Triple H to lean his shoulder on. Or to lean his head on, I should say, in Roman Reigns. And if you look at The Rock became a corporate champion at the Survivor Series. Why not Roman Reigns? Follow the path. Follow the same path, man. The same path to greatness. For The Rock, should be given to Roman Reigns. Although Reigns is the obvious choice here, considering he was already slated to win the title, Dave Meltzer stated that he didn't know if Reigns will win because WWE may want to build heat for a heel. A heel turn for Reigns makes a lot of sense, according to Meltzer. Dean Ambrose turning heel is also a possibility. However, WWE could use them as faces and not drastically change their plans by allowing Sheamus to cash in the Money in the Bank immediately after Reigns, Ambrose, or whoever wins the WWE Championship at Survivor Series. If Roman wins the tournament, then Sheamus cashes in. That would build Reigns as a face and give Sheamus heel heat and the championship. Many people expect Sheamus to cash in the briefcase before the end of the year. I don't want to hear about Sheamus cashing in. That would be death. That would be death. The WWE product is already stale, man. We don't need Sheamus. Sheamus shouldn't even be carrying around the briefcase, man. If Sheamus is going to cash in, he needs to lose it. He needs to lose this match, and that's it. I don't want Sheamus as WWE Champion, and I'm sure nobody in the WWE Universe wants Sheamus as a WWE Champion. I just don't see him at that level, man. He is mid-card. He does not belong as the WWE Champion. Now, another possibility here is Kevin Owens. WWE could, and this was quoted right from Justin LaBar on Chairshot Reality on WrestleZone.com. Before he ended yesterday's episode on Friday, he mentioned WWE could give the WWE Championship to Kevin Owens. They could give it to Kevin Owens because Triple H tried to give it to Roman Reigns, and Triple H could say, you know what, Roman? Kevin Owens wanted it all. He wanted the WWE Championship. He wanted the money. He wanted to provide for his family. Now he's got it. You turned me down, and now this is what you get for it. Kevin Owens could be that big heel that WWE builds up because Triple H believes in Kevin Owens. But I don't think Kevin Owens is at that point yet. I really don't. I don't think Kevin Owens needs to be WWE Champion for the reasons I gave you in that Danger Zone community video and for my Monday Night Raw video, man. Kevin Owens needs to be free for Sami Zayn. He doesn't need to be champion. We don't want to see that. I think Roman Reigns is the best bet here to turn heel and build him as the number one heel in the company until Seth Rollins comes back. That's when we get Seth Rollins as a face. You have Seth Rollins come back, battle Triple H for the championship. Or not for the championship, at SummerSlam. Roman Reigns as a heel going into WrestleMania. You guys mentioned Brock Lesnar. Jim Ross mentioned this week on the podcast. Roman Reigns going into WrestleMania as the WWE Champion. Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble. We have a face Lesnar versus a Roman Reigns heel at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. The rematch from this year's WrestleMania. There was never a decisive winner. I wouldn't mind that, man. I would not mind that because that match was so great to close WrestleMania this year. I think they would do an even better job this year. You know? It makes sense. It makes sense. Lesnar's got to get a WWE Championship eventually, a WWE Championship match eventually. Why not? Why not? Have him win the Rumble. I gave you an idea of Ambrose winning the Rumble because Reigns would have stabbed him in the back and he wants to get back at him. You know, Ambrose was robbed of the WWE Championship. That's another route you could go. WWE's got some room to play with here. They just got to make a right decision, and they got to make something happen that makes sense and that is logical. So hopefully WWE, takes everything into consideration and gives us something that makes sense. That's all I want. But Sheamus doesn't make sense. I don't want to hear Sheamus and the WWE Championship in the same sentence ever again, man. So that is Off the Script. That is part 2. Let me know what you guys think about everything that we discussed here. And tomorrow we'll be talking about the Sasha Banks incident. Apparently Vince McMahon is not a fan of the boss. Who's the real boss in WWE? Obviously, it ain't Sasha Banks. So we'll talk about that on part 3 tomorrow as well. I might be doing a Q&A, guys. If you want to leave me a Q&A, you can definitely do so. Hashtag on Twitter, OTS91. So if you guys want to do that, I might take a few questions depending on how I feel, man. I don't like when the episodes go 45 to 50 minutes with the Q&A included, man. Too long. I like to keep it at 25 to 30 minutes max. So we'll see what happens. If you guys want to leave me some questions, feel free to do so on Twitter. Use the hashtag OTS91. So I'll be back with part 3 on Sunday morning, guys. Remember, WrestleCrate.com. Use the code JDSentMe for an instant 10% off. That's the regular crate or the ultimate crate. ProWrestlingTees.com/WWE Off The Script. Buy a t-shirt. If you want to support the show, you can always donate to the PayPal link down below, man. I greatly appreciate it. And go check out the DangerZone community channel, man. Dank Ops and his girlfriend Michelle, they put together this community channel, and it's gonna be great, man. JD was on there, Behind the Mic #1. I'll link you everything you need down in the description below. Go and check it out. Let me know what you guys think about that, and let me know what you think about all the top stories here on part 2. And as always, if you missed part 1 of Off The Script this weekend for Friday, that is also linked in the description as well, man. This is JD. Hope you guys have a great Saturday. I'll be back on Sunday with Sasha Banks and more. I also got a news story on Batista possibly going against Triple H at WrestleMania 32 in Arlington, Texas, man. So I'll see you guys on part 3 for Off The Script. Until then, take care. Enjoy your Saturday, and I'll see you all on Sunday morning.